On Friday night, the Canucks visit Edmonton to play the Oilers. Now, the Oilers are a desperate team. They've gone 0-4 to start the season. We talked with Edmonton Journal beat reporter Joanne Ireland. Hi, Joanne.
Hey, Jim.
I wanted to ask you about the Oilers and, the fact that they've gone 0-4 to start the season. There was a lot of expectation this season. How much of a hornet's nest are the Canucks going to be going into on Friday, facing a desperate team?
Yeah, Jim, it's interesting. They should be a very desperate team, but they're also a team that's starting to look more and more like a team that's completely losing confidence. And here we are only 4 games in. So what I would say to you is that perhaps, the expectation is that the Canucks will come in, the Oilers will be looking to sort of right the ship right away. But conversely, I would think if they get down early, this could implode on them very quickly.
Now, let me ask you about that, follow up on that. Why do you think their confidence is not what it should be? Did anybody see this coming? I mean, how big a surprise has this start been?
Well, this is very surprising, Jim. I mean, but let me just sort of preface it by saying, going into the season, they had a couple of glaring question marks. One of them was down the middle. They lost Ryan Nugent-Hopkins after the game against the Canucks the other night. Goaltending was a bit of an issue given they were going into a season with Ben Scrivens and Victor Foss, neither of whom is a proven #1 goaltender. And their defense, while it looked on paper like it should be better, all 3 of those factors have sort of come to haunt them again. And, I think in that room going into the season, one of the things the players repeated over and over again was getting off to a good start. This is a team that was out of the picture by the end of November last season. And, I can't help but not believe that there's some sort of tightening of the throats here a little bit here, given the way things have gone so far.
Is this, I mean, you hate to say that it's a must-win game.
Yeah,
Game 5, but I mean, really, the sky is about to fall if they lose on to the Canucks, is it not? I mean, it's going to be very tough.
I agree, and this Friday night game's the first of 7 at home. They've got some Eastern clubs coming in, which should maybe sort of give them a little bit of hope. But this is also a team that's been booed off the ice regularly, and I would think with that homestand, if they do not get off to a good start against Vancouver, you're right. This could get ugly really fast. So yes, I mean, it's as silly as it sounds at this juncture to say it's must win. I would say they have to start turning this around.
After being a highly touted coach last year, being brought in, Dallas Eakins, had a tough year. How much pressure is on him?
Well, there's a lot of pressure on him. It's interesting, this, as you well know, when these things start to happen, I mean, this is also a city where losing sort of become the norm for the last 7 seasons, but the quick answer is always fire the coach. And they've done that regularly here. And going in, a lot of the players talked about how much important it was to have some continuity with the head coach. So here we are, 4 games in, all the old habits are starting to rear their ugly heads again. And yes, there's pressure on Dallas. Now, having said that, I don't know what the quick answer is. I don't sure how long that leash is with him. So I would think, we have at least another month before we have to start sort of checking in to see if he's going to be here through the end of the season.
Last question, Joanne. Just looking at the last game between the Canucks and the Oilers, obviously that's the best game they've had this year. In fact, they were, I would think, unlucky to lose it, but they did. They found a way to lose it. Is that the kind of game that they hope they can play again on Friday, more a wide open game where they can score some goals?
I would think so, but I mean, even last night in Phoenix, they got off to a decent start and they end up losing 7-4. So, we'll see what happens. Now, Ben Scrivens didn't have a great night, and yet he's going to have to go back in the net against the Canucks because Victor Foss on injury reserve with a groin injury. We haven't heard yet if Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is back. He hasn't played since he played Vancouver. So there's still some unknown factors. The team's got the day off today, so we're a little bit in the dark as to lineups. But yeah, I would think, especially at home, they want to get off to a quick start, build up a little bit of momentum, and who knows? I'm not even making any predictions about this one.
Thanks very much, Joanne.
No problem.